Hi, I'm Dave Dinkel, and tonight at our DREA meeting we were going to have a kind of a special event because Elio came to me a couple days ago maybe and said to me, do you mind if I do a deal of the week or a deal of the month at our club meeting? I said, no, great. He said, I have 4 of them. I said, that's terrific. And what happened is I planned for him to come to the meeting to specifically do the deal talk. And of course what happened is somebody else scheduled somebody else in. So Elio said to me, how about if I do a video? And I said, wonderful. And his partner is Mo. This is Mo in the center. And one of the things as we talked about them, he has more than 4 deals. But I wanted to talk about the ones where they got significant price reductions. One of the ways we get large spreads is we go back to the seller and try and work additional discounts before the final closing. And I want you to do, the listeners, is to get a perception of how much of a discount can you get. If you just ask for it, typically the answer is small or none. So let's talk about yours. Start at the first deal you want to start at.
This is a deal out in Westchester that we had a few months back. We managed to get at list price, found a buyer for it, got an inspection report, and managed to get a 50 grand reduction.
Oh wait, when you say you got it at a list price, you paid list? You put it under contract at list price?
Yeah, we put it under contract at list price.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah, just to take it off the market. He actually found it. He was the one that actually said make an offer at list price, and we put it out. We found a buyer for it, and then when we went back and renegotiate, because the house was really in a really terrible condition, so we managed to get an inspection report and went in.
When we initially put it under contract, we hadn't seen the house. It was a blind offer. After we had saw the house and saw the condition that it was in, that price reduction was warranted. But and the buyer that we found was $10K above list price. So we ended up getting a $50,000 price reduction and making about $60,000 on that one.
Okay, so did the agent take it off market when you put the contract in?
She actually did straight away. She was really...
No, that's good. Otherwise, if she'd left the listing up, they couldn't have sold it above list price.
Exactly.
So you got a $50,000 price reduction on that, and you netted $60,000 after the
60,
smoke cleared. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
What was the price again? 300 list, you said?
No, it was listed. This one, it was listed at actually. I think it was 200,
190.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost a quarter of the value of the property you got.
Yep.
That was a good deal.
Good.
What was the next one?
What was the next one that we had?
We bought a property and we wholesaled a property in North Miami that was listed at I think 100,000.
100. Managed to get it on the contract at 70.
Again, we hadn't seen the property when we put it under contract at 70. Walked through the property. It needed a lot more work than we had anticipated. Got an inspection report with Oscar, and we ended up getting a $20,000 price reduction. Found a wholesale buyer for it at $75,000.
Yeah.
So you made about $25,000.
Yeah, that was the net profit on that.
Okay, good. Now they mentioned Oscar, and Oscar is a local contractor that puts together, typically it's over a 100-page report, and it can, if your property was $70,000, the report can come in at $110,000 in repairs.
Yeah.
So he's got to be kind of careful, but he's a real contractor, real license. He's not going to risk his license. And for you people that haven't done that before, you know, the contractor says the kitchen will cost $5,000. Well, for that kitchen will cost $5,000, but you can just easily put in a $40,000 kitchen in that place. Mm-hmm. But he goes through and he puts in impact windows, for example, and doors, which are 5 times the price of regular windows and doors, probably to start with. So that's a pretty good discount too on the price of the property. So what's the next one?
A property out in Buena Vista that we had. The agent had it listed at 300. Went back and forth for a few weeks. Managed to get it under contract at first, I believe, at 170, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you seen it before then?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want people who are listening to understand that an agent will say to you, have you seen the property? And you're telling the truth. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you put the offer in. They think that you can't make an offer unless you go out there and inspect it and kick the walls and get a sales pitch from them. Mm-hmm. But in fact, almost all your offers are blind offers, correct?
Yeah, just about. I remember that property. It was listed at 300, and I knew it was overpriced. So Mo sent it to me, and I told him not to waste time with it. But he worked it for a few weeks, and
You worked the heck out of it.
yeah, he did. He really
So
did.
now they've come down to 170?
Yeah, they came down to 170, but it was still overpriced. So I had it tied up for like a week or so, 15 days in inspection, and I told him, it's too much. So he's like, oh, I have another buyer that's interested, etc., etc. Then a week later he came back. He said, oh, that buyer is not interested. So I was like, it's still too high for me. I need to be at 130. I actually went a bit lower, and he came back. He's like, oh, the best we can do is 130, and managed to get for like 130. All said and done.
Yeah, that property also had about $500,000 worth of liens attached to it. So that's how we were able to get the second price reduction.
Yeah, we used that to our advantage.
And we got that mitigated down to about $5K after the fact.
I just had one yesterday that it was $225,000, and the student went before the commission, and they reduced it to $750.
Whoa.
So yeah, well, you can't be afraid of liens and code violations.
Yep.
Depends on what they are. If there's safety issues, like the house has been doubled in size, they're going to be much more strict than if it was a pit bull lien or grass wasn't mowed for 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, that isn't something that we wholesale. We ended up closing on that one, and we're going to rehab it. We think the ARV there is about 400 conservatively.
Yeah, one of the things that I try and stress to students in the wholesaling aspect is they say to me all the time, I want to rehab. I tell them, learn to wholesale, to pick the best properties, then do your rehabbing, because cherry pick out more money.
Yep.
That's who buys most of the properties that we wholesale, is rehabbers, because they can't find them themselves. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
And sometimes we make more money than they do, I'll be quite frank with you, right? So you got one more.
Another one that we actually rehabbing is a property out in Shenandoah. Kind of the same situation. They had it listed same price range, like 300 or something. But I made an offer on it at 237. Someone made an offer higher than me. So that person, they was trying to wholesale it. They didn't manage to find a buyer for it. So the agent came back to me, so like, hey, I'll give it to you guys at 237. So we had it on the contract, and then Elio had the tech guy found some situations that it had a demo order on it. So we went to our usual strategy, get an inspection report, and then we used that to our advantage, the demo order and everything, and managed to get a 50 grand reduction on it.
Another $50,000
$50,000
increased profit, let's say, because that's what it is.
Yeah, but it was really just to kind of mitigate, to hedge our risk, because of the demo order, we weren't exactly sure whether or not we were able to stop that demo order. So we were at land value basically at
No, okay, good. One of the questions I get oftentimes is, at land value, what is land value? One of the guidelines that I like to use is the tax assessed value. They usually do it on the property, the structure, and the land. Now, you probably can't sell it at that price. So what I tell students is offer half of that, get it under contract, and then go to both neighbors on each side and try to induce them into having a bigger yard. That's the quickest way to sell it. But you guys want to rehab the house. So to stop the demo order, what do you guys have to do? Mo, what do you have to do?
He's the one that handles all that.
Oh, okay.
Well, we got our attorney involved. He went down to the city, and there was an unsafe structure violation on the property, so he went down and dealt with the guy who worked that department, and ended up getting us a 6-month conditional mitigation.
Yeah, okay. So
on the
that's why
property.
you're rehabbing it too.
Right,
Yeah.
6 months gave us 6 months to rehab the property, bring it into compliance, and they stopped the demo order.
Yeah, unsafe structure doesn't mean that it's collapsing on itself. It simply means that they've added something without permits, and the best way to get the homeowner's attention is to brand it as an unsafe structure, and ultimately they will go and demo it if you don't do something. Yeah. One of the famous stories from one of the partners that started this club was that he bought a property, had a demo order on it, he closed on it, he went out to see it, and they demoed the house.
Oh.
So he wound up wound up donating the lot to the city to get a tax deduction on it. It was all they could get out of it.
Wow.
So, any comments in closing for people out there that are struggling, trying to find deals and can't seem to get discounts?
One thing I'll say for reduction is don't be afraid of the numbers. You know, that's when I speak to a lot of other people. They find it surprising that we get the reductions that we get, but it's because we're not afraid to ask for them. That's one thing I'll say. Don't be scared of the numbers. You know, just look at them like any tiny other number that you think of. Just ask for it.
Yeah, and also list price. It's typically not indicative of what the property is actually gonna sell for. You know, oftentimes the agents listing these properties sometimes just don't know what they're worth themselves.
Yeah.
Like on that Buena Vista property that we mentioned, the agent asked Mo repeatedly, you know, what do you think this property is worth?
Yeah.
What would you pay for it? You know, just make us an offer. You know,
We see it quite
we
often.
get that a lot.
Yeah, we see it quite often. And very oftentimes, if the homeowner has a contractor come out to get a repair estimate, the contractor is going to be very, very high. And if you get in that situation where the agent might say it needs $60,000 in repairs, you always agree and say, when I looked at it, I think it needs more like $90,000, when it in fact probably needs 25 or 30 in the bigger picture. So just little tips and keys, key ideas for you. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Great job. I'll see you in the movies.
Thanks for having us.